This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Jamie Glazov Moment. Tonight, Gloria Steinem's rape cover-up? Question mark. The curious things feminists do to protect their political brand. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular moment is based on an article by Rebecca Bynum at Front Page Magazine with the exact title and teaser, Gloria Steinem's rape cover-up? Question mark. Very powerful, very important article, and so this particular moment is based on it and also credits it. Look it up. Google Rebecca Bynum, Gloria Steinem's rape cover-up? Question mark, Front Page Magazine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Bynum writes about Gloria Steinem, the leader and spokeswoman for the American feminist movement, especially, of course, in the late 60s and early 70s. Now, she was the co-founder of Miss Magazine, which was the forefront of the feminist movement. And so in that article, Rebecca Bynum, she discusses how this feminist movement grew and how, marriage and children went out the window, free love was in, and all this, they were stopping the objectification and sexualization of women, and, women are equal and all this stuff. And by the way, I'm not necessarily, again, the enemies are always trying to label us or to libel us or slander us that we're against women's power or women's equality. Not at all. The reason I'm talking about all this and referring and referencing it all is it's very interesting how the feminist left stands supposedly for all of these things and then on many realms all of a sudden does not. So that's the point. And also the larger point that this women's equality movement is, as Bynum shows, slowly but surely morphed and mutated into an attack men movement. And so Steinem herself, as Bynum quotes her, Steinem herself famously stated, quote, "A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle." So we know that this feminist movement, this leftist feminist movement, as it began to mutate and morph, all of a sudden, in the name of women's equality, all of a sudden it became the women as victim brand. The women as victim card, and the men are perpetrators card. And so all of this, as we well know in the hands of the left, has culminated in this hysteria now, this mass psychosis, and these vicious attacks on men, and that we just recently saw, of course, with Kavanaugh in the Senate confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court. It's very clear now, as Rebecca Bynum shows in that article, that the women's movement is now simply a leftist tool to smear political dissidents and opponents. Now, where does our story today get to? What do I want to talk about? What is Rebecca Bynum's article about? We have a true and brave real feminist by the name of Phyllis Chesler. What a brave woman, a real titan in the world, a truth teller. And Phyllis Chesler has been kicked out of the feminist movement. You see, because she tried to apply the principles of feminism to Muslim women. Phyllis actually cares about the Muslim women and girls who suffer under Islamic gender apartheid, and she cares for all people that are the victims of Islamic gender apartheid and of jihad and of Sharia, because this touches Muslims but also non-Muslims. And Phyllis Chesler has paid the price for that. She's been kicked out of the left, kicked out of the leftist feminist movement. They hate her because she tells the truth about what happens in adversary cultures and religions, what happens in under adversary ideologies, and that's not allowed. You see, because the left is in league with and is allied to adversary cultures and religions, which includes, of course, there was the alliance with communism during the Cold War, and now there's this unholy alliance with Islamic supremacism. Now, on with our story. Phyllis Chesler has just written a very honest new memoir, A Politically Incorrect Feminist. And in her memoir, Phyllis shares that in 1979/1980, she worked at the UN for a man by the name of Davidson Nicol. He was a dignitary from Sierra Leone. And Davidson Nicol, as Phyllis writes in her memoir, raped her. Now, at the same time, the International Women's Conference was taking place at Oslo during this terrible crime that this particular man perpetrated against Phyllis. And there was this women's conference in Oslo, and Phyllis Chesler had invited Gloria Steinem, but instead a surrogate was sent to this conference by the name of Robin Morgan. Now, when Robin Morgan showed up, Phyllis begged her to stand up for her against this Nicol perpetrator, but Morgan refused. So this representative of the leftist feminist movement, of Gloria Steinem, would not support a woman who had just been raped. And Morgan maintained that it would be bad for Miss Magazine and the feminist movement to accuse a black man. You see, there's a certain victim hierarchy in the left, right? So, as Rebecca Bynum writes, and as Phyllis also wrote in her book, that you see third world men rate above white first world women. So Miss Magazine was very, very worried about being accused of racism. You see, because racism is a greater sex than sexism and rape. Read Phyllis Chesler's memoir and read Rebecca Bynum's article on all of this, because it details how this leftist mindset works. And so here's what we have here. So we have a feminist movement. We have a feminist movement that betrays and is willfully blind to the rape of one of its members, of one of the women in its league. And we see all of this happening today, by the way. We see this victim hierarchy continuing. We see what's happening in Europe as the Muslim migrants come from these Sharia environments, and what Sharia tells them that they can do to the kafir women, right? Because Sharia tells them it's okay. In the Quran, we know about surahs 4:3, surahs 33:50. We know what it says about women, the kafir that doesn't wear the hijab, or even the Muslim women that don't wear the hijab, what can be done to them. In surahs 24:31, surahs 33:59. And this is why the jihadists point to these surahs and point to these teachings as inspiration and sanctioning to the crimes that they commit, including rape. And so what do we have here? What we have here is this international feminism was thrust into the world with Miss Magazine heading it. And the rape of Phyllis was swept under the rug with the blessing of Gloria Steinem. So I repeat on this show today that Phyllis Chesler begged Morgan and also Gloria Steinem to take her side during that conference and even after that conference. And they refused at the time, and they refuse till this day. And this crime, this awful crime that happened to Phyllis, was swept under the rug. And so, wasn't it interesting how quiet Gloria Steinem was and continues to be about this? Wonder if is it a coincidence that Gloria Steinem publicly defended Bill Clinton in 1998 with what became known as the, quote, one grope free pass rule? That's right, that's what she applied to the Bill Clinton case, the one grope free pass rule in 1998. But of course, this only applies to leftists and to Democrats, because Republicans, as we know, will always get lynched when they violate the leftist rules. But for some reason, the left gets away with it, and then we've got that victim hierarchy going on. Ladies and gentlemen, get on social media. Talk with your friends. Get involved with groups. confront Gloria Steinem on this till this day. Where is she? You know, look at what just happened with Kavanaugh. We went all the way back to high school with these hysterical lies and fabrications and delusions and illusions. But now, since, you know, apparently we can go back to high school, you know, let's go back. Let's go back to what happened to Phyllis Chesler. Let's have Gloria Steinem confronted on her silence. What kind of a feminist is she? Let's go back. Let's ask the Me Too movement. Why is it so quiet today? Where are the Me Too that believe all survivors? Why won't they confront Gloria Steinem? Why won't they talk about this particular case? What's happened with that particular perpetrator? Let's pursue this. Again, this whole case shows once again what the left is all about. The leftist feminism, masquerading is just this pining and just this yearning for social justice and equality and humanitarianism. But is it really? Or when you take the mask off, what is the left? Just a heartless, callous movement of malice and destruction that dehumanizes and demonizes people if they don't agree with them and ignores true victims when they don't have the same political ideas or if they fall in the way of a certain political agenda. Our hearts are with you, Phyllis Chesler. We believe you, we love you, we respect you. We pray for your healing. We pray for your health, and we pray for your strength. And we're grateful to you for your nobility and for your courage and for everything that you have done and that you continue to do for women's rights and to those who suffer at the hands of jihad and under Islamic gender apartheid. Thank you, Phyllis, for being such a great symbol of what feminism really should be. And meanwhile, Gloria Steinem, you've got quite a bit of explaining to do. The hashtag #MeToo movement, you've got quite a bit of explaining to do. The viewers of the Glazov Gang, our supporters and fans, confront them to explain. Thank you for watching the Jamie Glazov Moment. Good night.